It has been a while, admittedly, a little over a week. So a few things kind of happened since my last workout last Tuesday. It turns out I was a little off base with my squats or my front squats, thinking I was not being as upright as I should be. I think I was probably fine. Um, my my lower back was so inflamed on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday from the attempts that I had at trying to stay completely upright when I was doing those front squats. I had difficulty getting out of bed on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I could not twist and reach. I had difficulty getting out of chairs. It was awful. So needless to say, I didn't work out because I could not move. Um, I have not experienced pain like that in quite some time. And it was frustrating because I could still squat, up and down just fine, but bearing any sort of weight or any sort of minor adjustment in my positioning, either because of a twist or leaning forward or backward, caused significant discomfort in my lower back. So I I was wrong, and I think my front squats are relatively okay. Um, it's not to say they're perfect, but I think they were fine, and I was looking for things that were wrong. There are definitely things that I can improve, such as just kind of consistency in reps as the weight gets heavier, and that's just going to come with developing more strength in the movement. Um, you know, One thing that I did notice in this set, and it could be a consequence of not having squatted for a while, over a week, or just kind of the weight that it's getting to, is that I very nearly didn't finish the fifth set on this. It was pretty heavy, to be honest. It took a lot for me to get through it. Even the fourth set took a lot of time. I was unsure if I wanted to do a minute and a half rest or 2 minutes or even three, but I went with a minute and a half between sets three and four. But after that fourth set, I really had to kind of change my approach, and I went with 2.5 or no 2 minutes of rest between or sorry, not 2 minutes, 3 minutes of rest between the fourth and fifth sets, as opposed to 2 minutes between every other set, just because I was feeling gassed and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to finish it. And even during this set, I focused on getting that first rep, got through it, and I said, all right, just go right into the second, into the third. The fourth right here took a little second to catch my breath and get through that. Really grinded that out, and then focused on the last rep. And man, that one was hard. And I think one of the things that I'm doing when it's difficult, and you can see me doing it in the last rep, is tucking my head down and closing off my throat a little bit, and it's compromising the position of my back, and it's making it hard for me to do my sets effectively. So something to keep my eye on. But it's hard to do every single cue at once until they're completely ingrained into you as you're trying to notice and adapt every little thing in your technique. It's easier at times to kind of pick one thing, focus on it, fix it, and move on. So that's kind of how those went. Going over to deadlifts, to be honest, my my hamstrings were just shot at this point. And that's very odd because usually those don't have a lot of activation during front squats. So something was a little bit different in terms of how it should have been going. And truthfully, because of that, I only got through 2 sets of deadlifts at 365. And it did not feel great to me. I felt pretty frustrated because the last workout I'd done at a trap bar, I did 405 for 4 sets of 5. And here I was doing 2 sets of 5 at 365, somewhat easily getting through them. Went over to try to third, and I was feeling a little tired, wasn't sure how I was going to go about it, and I couldn't even break the weight off the ground. So I could feel the bar give a little bit, but I did not have the strength to do it. And I just said, you know what? I'm not going to fight this right now. I'm feeling tired. I'm not going to risk doing this exercise and hurting myself during this. So I just called those good and moved on to doing the dumbbell bench press. I loaded up 40 pounds the week before, and that was another one. I had pretty bad DOMs in my chest, but that's just a consequence of not really doing chest for months, and decided to just resume with the 40 pounds because I was able to get through it with 4 sets of 12 before. Honestly, this workout in particular, it coming off like a 9-day break after not working out, you can make excuses to why things didn't work well. I've had pretty bad sleep the past few days. This was later in the day, so I hadn't really eaten recently. My energy was low. It was just not a great workout session, admittedly. And that happens. And, you just have to kind of chalk it up and move on. Try to avoid the things that created those conditions in the first place. So I need to be a bit better with my sleep. I need to make sure I get to my workouts sooner after I eat and not spend too much time, just draining energy before I get to them. I need to just kind of be more measured in my approaches and probably have to deload the front squats after this week. So, it's just things you have to do when going into this to be able to accomplish what you need to do. And to be honest, I was wanting to do 4x12 again on the dumbbell press. I got through 2 sets fairly easily. The third set was a bit of a slog. I gave myself a little bit extra time to rest, 2 minutes instead of a minute and a half. Admittedly, I probably should have done like 3. But I only got through like 7 reps of the last set. And to be honest, again, it just happens. Sometimes you just don't have the best session. You're not going to win you're not going to be successful every single time you try. You're not going to do everything right all the time. You can approach everything as best as possible. You can do everything the way that it needs to be done, but sometimes you just won't get it. And that's just the nature of approaching things. It's the nature of almost anything you'll do in life, that you can do everything as well as you can, and just some days it's just not going to do it. And especially in a situation like this, to where I had so many suboptimal conditions going against me. I was tired. I was hungry. Had not worked out in a while. Nothing was really kind of working the way it should. And it shows. Everything just seems a little slow. And, man, yawning now. Just not a great session. So just gotta chalk it up, as to what it was. It was a good effort. I tried. I went in and did it after having to take time off from being injured. Tuesday, the St. Louis area had massive, historic rainfall and flooding, and I spent Tuesday working on my parents' house, helping, fix a roof leak. So I was hunched up in an attic. My back's been sore from that. My hamstrings have been sore for that. But at the end of the day, that's just an excuse. I have done workouts in worse conditions, and I have powered through them just fine. Just could not do it today, and that's okay. Because again, you're never going to succeed at every single thing you do, and you have to face failure or adversity at some point to be able to give a better contrast to the times where you're able to succeed and things go right. And it helps you understand what it is specifically that makes it work for you. So, it seems obvious to say, but poor sleep doesn't help. Not having enough energy doesn't help. Not having frequent enough meals doesn't help. There are all these factors that you will come to realize when things don't work out that you need to account for to make sure that things do. And sometimes hubris gets in the way and you get too used to success, and things going your way, and you stumble and they don't work out. But it's being able to admit that that things didn't work and you need to make adjustments and do what you can to fix that so that the next time that you approach things, it will. So take failure as a lesson and not anything that's wrong. It is a good thing because it is better at showing you what you need to do to succeed.